In English, you would say, I need to talk to you. I want to help you. Of course, you know that the second verb is in the infinitive. It's to plus verb. But did you know that there are many common words in English that don't use the infinitive? Today, you'll learn why you should never add to plus verb to these common words. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. What do you think about this sentence? I look forward to meet you. I hear this from students, even my most advanced students. But this sentence is incorrect. You must say, I look forward to meeting you. So you can't use the infinitive to plus base verb. Notice here, the to in this sentence isn't the infinitive. The phrase is to look forward to. And then you need a gerund or a noun. The to in this sentence is part of the phrase. It's not part of the verb that follows. You can say, I look forward to working with you. So your verb is to work and you need it in the gerund form, working. You can also use a noun and say, I look forward to the party. So there's no verb here. The party is a something, a noun. You can use a gerund or a noun, but you can never add to plus verb to this phrase. Don't worry about taking notes. I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. Now you might be wondering, Jennifer, why can't I use the base verb? Remember I said that to in look forward to is not part of the infinitive. To is part of the phrase. Grammatically, to is a preposition in this phrase. And grammatically is preposition plus gerund or noun. That's the grammatical rule. Trust me, you already understand this and use this correctly in your speech. This is easier to understand when the preposition isn't to. For example, I thought about going to the party. I ended up ordering pizza. I look forward to watching your next lesson. Hopefully that describes you. You look forward to watching my next lesson. If that describes you, put that's right, put that's right in the comments. So as you can see, this is only confusing because to functions as both the preposition and part of the infinitive. So you simply need to memorize the phrases in this lesson and you'll have all the information you need. What do you think about this sentence? I'm dedicated to improve my English. This sentence is incorrect. In this sentence, to is part of the phrase to be dedicated to. Grammatically, it's a preposition. So there are two options. You can use a gerund or a noun. With a gerund, you can say, I'm dedicated to improving my English, of course. To change this to a noun, think of a something rather than an action. Perhaps I'm dedicated to my English studies. So here, my English studies is a something, it's a noun. Notice here that the verb to be dedicated to, that's the main verb. So it needs to be conjugated with the subject and the time reference. You could say he was dedicated to his guitar lessons, but then he lost interest. The verb to be is conjugated here in the past simple, third person singular, he was. But dedicated is always in the ed form because it's the past participle adjective. It describes a state or condition, not an action. This applies to all the examples in this lesson with the verb to be in the structure. You can't say they're committed to protect the environment because you don't want the infinitive. To is part of the phrase. You must say they're committed to protecting the environment. So the phrase is to be committed to plus gerund or noun. They're committed to something, the environment, or you could even say they're committed to environmental protection. So here, environmental is the adjective that describes protection. You can't say we're devoted to create a safe space. Just like committed to, it's we're devoted to creating a safe space. So to be, devoted to, plus gerund or noun. For example, we're devoted to the cause of something, or the company was devoted to, and now let's try an action, building trust. So remember to conjugate that word. But keep in mind, the company was determined to build trust. So here is to be determined, and to is the infinitive, so it's plus infinitive. You may say, I'm determined to improve my English. So right now you're probably thinking, but Jennifer, how do I know? How do I know if to is part of the infinitive or if to is a preposition that requires the gerund? Well, to be honest, there is no rule, it's memorization. But in this lesson, I'm sharing 16 phrases. They are the most common 16 phrases you need to know, so just commit to memorizing these 16 phrases. I know you can do it. Here's one you absolutely need to use correctly. Do not say, I'm not used to drive in the snow. You must say, I'm not used to driving in the snow. Hopefully you know this because this is a very common expression. To be used to plus gerund or noun. For example, I'm used to waking up at 5:30 a.m. So this is a feeling of comfort with something difficult or new because it's part of your routine. Now don't confuse this with I used to wake up at 5:30 a.m. So here the structure is subject plus used in the past and then plus infinitive, to wake up. This is used for a past routine, so the meaning is not the same. You can say, I'm used to waking up at 5:30 a.m. because that's when I used to wake up. Or you can use a noun, which is very common. I'm used to the cold. But do not use subject plus used to plus noun. That does not work. Do not say she's accustomed to work until midnight. She's accustomed to working until midnight. So here is to be accustomed to and then gerund or noun. This is the formal version of to be used to. So in a more formal context, you might say our team is accustomed to managing multiple projects. Or with a noun, our team is accustomed to a heavy workload. But remember, that's the formal version. In your everyday life, you would use I'm used to waking up at 5:30 a.m. Also, do not say he's open to try new things. You must say he's open to trying new things. This is a great phrase, to be open to plus gerund or noun. This means that you're willing to consider, accept, or try something. So your boss or a future boss might ask you, are you open to relocating? So changing where you live for the job. Are you willing to consider it? Are you open to relocating? Now you might say, I'm open to it. So here you're using a pronoun to replace the verb. It represents relocating. I'm open to it, but my wife isn't. My wife isn't open to relocating. Or this is very common with a noun. Are you open to suggestions as something? And then you can say, of course, I look forward to receiving your suggestions, or you can even just use the noun. I look forward to your suggestions. Don't say we're receptive to hear your feedback. Use we're receptive to hearing your feedback. So here the phrase is to be receptive to, gerund or noun. This is the formal version of to be open to. Absolutely, you can use to be open to in your daily speech. To be receptive to is for more formal situations. You might say, my boss is receptive to adopting new AI technologies. Or, at first, my boss wasn't receptive to AI, a something, and remember to conjugate your verb to be, wasn't receptive to AI, but he got used to the idea. Did you notice here I use to get used to? Do not say I got used to present in English. You must say, I got used to presenting in English. So here the phrase is to get used to, plus gerund or noun. Remember before it was to be used to. This time it's to get used to. So this is the same meaning, but it's to talk about the transition from not used to used to. So, for example, if you want to advance in your career, you need to get used to speaking in public. Or you might say, if you want to advance in your career, you need to get used to something public speaking. And this phrase is often used in the past simple to show that the transition is complete. For example, after a lot of practice, repetition, and patience, I finally got used to public speaking. So this means right now I'm used to public speaking, but it focuses on that transition. So both be used to and get used to should be part of your daily speech. Don't say they're opposed to build more condos here. You must say they're opposed to building more condos here. So to be opposed to plus gerund or noun, this means that you do not support an idea or a plan. So someone could say, I thought they were open to the new condo project, a something. And then you can reply and say, they were. They were open to it, open to the new condo project, until they found out the permit would take 24 months. Now they're opposed to it. They're opposed to building the condo. Don't say they objected to pay the extra fee. Say they objected to paying the extra fee. So notice here the structure does not use the verb to be. It's to object. That's the verb you need to conjugate. To object to plus gerund or noun. And this means to protest against or strongly disagree. And it's mainly used in a legal or official way. So on TV, you'll often hear, I object, Your Honor. And in a business context, you'll frequently hear the majority of shareholders objected to merging the companies. That's the action. You can see this as a noun and say the majority of shareholders objected to the merger. That's the something. Don't say he's addicted to play video games. He's addicted to playing video games. To be addicted to plus gerund or noun. For example, many kids are addicted to social media, a something. Now, that sounds more negative. There's consequences to that, but in a lighthearted, jokey way, you might say, Jennifer, I'm addicted to watching your lessons. So you're using it in a positive way. Or again, to be more lighthearted, you might say, I'm addicted to chocolate, or something that doesn't have a severe consequence. Don't say she confessed to lie about her age. She confessed to lying about her age. So here again, to confess to. Confess is the verb you conjugate plus gerund or noun. And if you confess, it means you admit to wrongdoing. For example, she confessed to cheating on the exam. Or someone might say, you need to confess. They might not even include a noun or an action if it's obvious. You need to confess to the theft. So that's the something. Here's another common one you can use, but do not say we're close to finish the project. We're close to finishing the project. So notice to be close to plus gerund or noun. And this means that you're almost done. You're near the end. We were close to launching the new product, but then our main supplier raised the price. So it pushed back the launch. Or you could say we're close to the launch as a something. This next one may be new to you. Don't say she resigned to work late every night. She resigned to working late every night. So here the phrase is to be resigned to. So this is a verb to be expression. And then you add your gerund or noun. Now this means that you accept something because it's required, but you do that unhappily. For example, she's resigned to staying late tonight. So this implies she doesn't want to stay late, but if she refuses, well, she'll be fired. She needs this job, so staying late is a requirement even though she doesn't want to. Or you could use a noun and say she's resigned to the schedule. The schedule is the document that requires her to stay late. Now, don't confuse this with she resigned. So to resign means to quit. It's the formal version of to quit. So you could say, I submitted my letter of resignation, which is the document that says I quit, I resign. But this phrase is to be resigned to doing something. I'm resigned to working for this company until I retire. Now your friend might ask you, why don't you just quit? Why don't you just resign? How about this one? Don't say he's partial to eat homemade meals. Use he's partial to eating homemade meals. The phrase is to be partial to and then your gerund or noun. This is a useful phrase. It means that you have a preference for one thing over others. So someone might ask you, are you open to going on a beach vacation? Are you willing to do this? Now you can reply and say, well, to be honest, I'm partial to the mountains. So you're saying, I prefer the mountains over the beach. I'm partial to the mountains as something. But you could add, but I'm open to it. I'm open to going to the beach. Which beach? Or you can use a verb. To be honest, I'm partial to going on mountain vacations, but I'm not opposed to the beach. I'm not opposed to going to the beach. Which one? So you can use these expressions together. Just make sure you never use to plus verb after these 16 expressions in this lesson. Do you want me to keep helping you improve your grammar? If you do, put let's go in the comments. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And here's another lesson I know you'll love. Watch it now.